At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu. With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has confirmed and announced the death of the Nigeria immediate past President Muhammadu Buhari at a London hospital at about 4:30 p.m. on Sunday, after years of rumours and speculations by the detained leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that the person that ruled Nigeria for the last 8 years died few years after he took over office on May 29, 2015. The news of former President Buhari's death came at a time the ex-president was a major point of discussion during the preceding week after the personal media aide to the late president, Garba Shehu, confessed he lied to cover up the health issues of the then President Muhammadu Buhari, a confession the Indigenous People of Biafra described and said that the Garba Shehu's confessional statement about the use of the Villa Rat invasion story to cover up former President Muhammadu Buhari's illness vindicates its detained leader, Nnamdi Kanu, who had speculated years ago, starting from 2018, that the real Muhammadu Buhari died few years after assuming office, that the man that ruled Nigeria for the last part of first tenure and second tenure was Mr. Jubril al-Sudani from Sudan. In a statement on Saturday by the Biafra Group's spokesperson, Emma Powerful, IPOB said Kanu was the first to expose Buhari's health condition and was persecuted for it. The group described Shehu's confession as a delayed confession born out of guilt and irrelevance. Where was this honesty when the Nigerian people needed it? Where was this truth when IPOB and our leader were being vilified, jailed, and labeled terrorists for speaking it? If this level of deliberate misinformation had happened in any sane society, those responsible would be in jail for subverting the constitution, undermining national security, and deceiving the electorate. But Nigeria rewards mediocrity, protects liars, and punishes truth-tellers. The truth is like the rising sun. It cannot be suppressed. Today, Garba Shehu has confessed. Tomorrow others will follow. Aso Rock is a house built on lies, and the foundation is shaking, the statement added. The former president, Muhammadu Buhari, had begged for forgiveness if he had done anyone wrong. In 2023, he said at a gathering that, "Whoever thought that there has been some form of injustice on him, we are all humans. There is no doubt I hurt some people, and I wish they would pardon me, and those who think that I have hurt them, please pardon me." Late President Muhammadu Buhari stated this in May 2023, according to the video republished on X social media platform on Sunday by one of his former media assistants, Bashir Ahmed. According to the press release by the president's spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, President Tinubu has directed the Vice President Shettima to travel to the United Kingdom to accompany the body of the former president back home. The statement reads in quotes thus: President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has announced the passing of his predecessor, President Muhammadu Buhari. President Buhari died today in London at about 4:30 p.m., following a prolonged illness. President Tinubu has spoken with Mrs. Aishat Buhari, the former president's widow, and offered his deep condolences. President Tinubu has also directed Vice President Kashim Shettima to proceed to the United Kingdom to accompany President Muhammadu Buhari's body back to Nigeria. Former President Buhari was twice elected Nigeria's president in 2015 and 2023. He also served as military head of state between January 1984 and August 1985. President Tinubu has ordered flags at half-staff as a mark of respect for the departed leader. Bayo Onanuga, special advisor to the President, Information and Strategy, stated this on Sunday, July 13, 2025. On a personal note, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, "It is with profound sorrow and a heavy heart that I received the news of the passing of His Excellency, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, GCFR, my predecessor, who departed this life today, Sunday, July 13, 2025, at a hospital in the United Kingdom." President Buhari was to the very core, a patriot, a soldier, a statesman. His legacy of service and sacrifice endures. He served Nigeria with unwavering dedication, first as a military leader from January 1984 to August 1985, and later as a democratically elected president from 2015 to 2023. Duty, honor, and a deep commitment to the unity and progress of our nation defined his life. He stood firm through the most turbulent times, leading with quiet strength, profound integrity, and an unshakable belief in Nigeria's potential. He championed discipline in public service, confronted corruption head-on, and placed the country above personal interest at every turn. In this moment of national mourning, I extend my deepest condolences to his beloved wife, Aisha, with whom I have been in constant touch, his children, the entire Buhari family, and all who knew and loved him. I also extend my condolences to the government and people of Katsina State, most especially the people and traditional leaders of Daura Emirate. We honor his service, we reflect on his legacy, and we pray for the peaceful repose of his soul. As a mark of respect to our former leader, I have directed that all national flags fly at half-staff across the country for 7 days from today. I have also summoned an emergency Federal Executive Council session on Tuesday, dedicated to his honor. The federal government will accord President Buhari full state honors befitting his towering contributions to our country. May Allah forgive his shortcomings and grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus. And may his life continue to inspire generations of Nigerians to serve with courage, conviction, and selflessness. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, stated this on Sunday, July 13, 2025. It would be recalled that in April 2019, during the preparation for the Nigeria general elections, Nnamdi Kanu came up with a fresh claim about the true nationality of President Muhammadu Buhari. Kanu, in his broadcast from the United Kingdom, said that neither dead Muhammadu Buhari nor his replacement, Jubril al-Sudani, is qualified to contest for Nigeria's presidential election. Nnamdi Kanu argued that being born on Nigerian soil was not enough to qualify one as a Nigerian citizen by birth, unless the parents, grandparents of such person is also born in Nigeria. The IPOB leader said that Buhari's father, Hardo Adamu, was a nomadic Fulani trader, a duck seller, from Niger Republic, and later became a bodyguard in the Emir of Daura's palace, which made him to settle in Daura, Katsina State, adding that he, Hardo, was born in Niger Republic, not Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu vowed to continue his efforts to unmask Jubril Aminu al-Sudani, the Sudanese man who he had claimed is replaced the then President Buhari in the presidential villa. In a video he posted on social media to wish his followers a happy 2019, Kanu, who went missing in September 2017 and resurfaced in Israel in October 2018, said the worst days for the secessionist group were over and the 2019 promises to be appointed year of Biafra independence, and in the video, Kanu vowed to ensure that activities in Biafra land will be grounded during the presidential election. He said, "The unmasking of Jubril Aminu al-Sudani, the fake Nigerian president, will continue unabated. By the time we are done with him and his handlers, Lugard will become truly ashamed of what he created. I would like to see Nigerians participate in elections where one of the names on the ballot paper is a dead man. This shame and humiliation is one that will never leave Nigeria as it heads ingloriously towards self-destruction. We understand the enemy has announced yet another round of Fulani military invasion of our land in the name of Operation Python Dance, no doubt to help facilitate the rigging of elections for Jubril al-Sudani and the cronies of Fulani cabal across Nigeria. What I said previously still stand, and there is no going back. Chukwu Okike Abiyama is my witness that any reported shooting or killing of any Biafran by this Fulani Janjaweed army of Nigeria will be avenged, he said. In December 2019, then President Muhammadu Buhari personally spoke and said he's not the Jubril from Sudan, that he's the real Buhari Nigerians voted for.
Whoever thought that there has been some form of injustice on him, we are all humans. There is no doubt I hurt some people and I wish they would pardon me. And those that think that I've hurt them so much, please pardon me. I thank you very much.
Officers who are connected, bringing you the news in a more digital way.
Anambra State Command of the Nigeria Police Force has repelled the simultaneous sporadic heavy gun shooting in Oko and Ekwulobia, when two separate groups of unknown gunmen engaged men of the Oko Divisional Police Headquarters in the Orumba North local government area in an early morning gun battle, and another group took over the Ekwulobia flyover bridge in the Aguata local government area of the state on Wednesday, resulting in the death of two members of the public and set ablaze the patrol vehicle of Agunaechemba, the state special vigilante group, which police said one of the attackers was killed during the deadly gun battle. And on Thursday, the police issued new updates, stating that an additional AK-47 rifle has been recovered from one of the fleeing assailants, while Biafra armed group, the Biafra Defense Forces, in a tweet on Thursday specifically denied any involvement in the mass shooting at Ekwulobia, stating, "Those impersonating them will one day run out of luck." According to the Biafra Defense Forces, the said incident that occurred yesterday at Ekwulobia is not in any way connected to Biafra Defense Forces, BRF, BNF, BLA, and BAF. Those impersonating BDF will one day run out of luck. Biafrans beware. Anambra State Police, in a new updates on Thursday, said that the police-led joint security force at Aguata recovered an additional AK-47 rifle with a fully loaded magazine in the late hours of the 9th of July 2025. The weapon is believed to have been abandoned by fleeing armed criminals following a sustained pursuit by security operatives. This development follows a violent incident in which assailants opened fire indiscriminately under the Ekwulobia flyover and launched an attack on the Oko Divisional Police Headquarters earlier the same day. The Anambra State Police Command acknowledges and appreciates the continued cooperation and support of residents within the affected communities. Members of the public are urged to remain vigilant and promptly report any suspicious activities to the nearest security agency. The area remains calm and under control, with surveillance and intelligence operations ongoing to apprehend the remaining suspects connected to the attacks, SP Tochukwu Akenga, Police Public Relations Officer, Anambra State Police Command stated in a press release on Thursday. Ekwulobia in Anambra State came under heavy mass shooting on Wednesday when some of the unknown gunmen could be seen in the series of videos posted online by eyewitnesses took over the flyover bridge in the community and was seen shooting sporadically, which scared both motorists, nearby residents and other road users. It was gathered that the shooting lasted more than 30 minutes. In some of the videos, a lifeless body was seen lying inside a commercial tricycle popularly known as keke, while another clip shows a man lying dead inside a shop with a pool of blood on the floor. Anambra State Police Command, in a statement earlier issued on Wednesday, said that the Anambra Police-led security force contained a shooting incident in the early hours of today, the 9th of July 2025 at Oko and Ekwulobia flyover, Aguata local government area. The team also demobilized one of the armed criminals, recovered one AK-47 rifle, one automatic pump-action gun and 4 vehicles at the scene as the operatives sustained the onslaught operations in the area. The vehicles recovered include one red Toyota Camry vehicle with registration number NU58SC, custom color, GLK Mercedes-Benz without a registration number, golden color, Lexus 330 with registration number NU815AP, and one ash Toyota Highlander with registration number GDD 517RW. The armed criminals unprovokedly shot indiscriminately under the Ekwulobia flyover. Consequently, in a swift response, the joint security team engaged the hoodlums in a fierce gun duel. Regrettably, the incident recorded the death of 2 unsuspecting members of the public and the burning of a brown Toyota Sienna vehicle allegedly belonging to the Anambra State Vigilante group. Meanwhile, the bodies of the deceased have been recovered and deposited in the morgue. In another development, the Oko Divisional Police Headquarters witnessed an attack, but the gallant officers on duty repelled the assault by the armed criminals. No casualties were recorded as the aggressive pursuit by the joint security team of the assailants continues in the area. Given the above, adequate security measures have been put in place at the instance of the Commissioner of Police CP Ikoye Oratugu FWCM NIPS PhD. Residents are hereby urged to remain calm as efforts to ensure their safety continues unabated, SP Tochukwu Akenga had stated in a press release on Wednesday. The local government chairman of Aguata local government also in a statement on Wednesday, said that, in the early hours of today, Wednesday, July 9, 2025, the Anambra State Police-led joint team, forward operating base, domiciled in Aguata local government area and the Agunaechemba squad, Aguata unit, contained an attack launched by hoodlums in Ekwulobia, Aguata local government area. The hoodlums who shot sporadically in the air around the Ekwulobia flyover were fiercely challenged by our men and who in turn demobilized one of the armed criminals, recovered the guns and 4 vehicles. Unfortunately, 2 members of the public recorded fatal gunshot injuries while one of the vehicles of the Agunaechemba squad was burnt from the impact of gunshots. The ability of our security men to contain the attackers is a testament to the relentless efforts of the Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo administration to equip the security system of the state, providing them with the capacity to secure Anambra State. On behalf of the good and law-abiding people of Aguata local government ARCA, I express my gratitude to Mr. Governor, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo CFR, for his commitment towards a secured Aguata local government area and indeed, Anambra State. Great thanks to our gallant men for the bravery and uncommon patriotism. I urge our people to go about the normal businesses within our communities in Aguata local government area as our security personnel are ever ready at all times. Together, we will build the livable society we envision. Remember, security is our collective responsibility. See something, say something, Chibuza Fobuike, the mayor of Aguata local government area stated.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.
Kenya National Human Rights Commission, KNHRC, has confirmed that 31 persons have already been pronounced dead by medical doctors attending to protesters who were attacked on Monday by Kenya's security operatives and armed militias when thousands of Kenya residents came out to stage a mass protest to mark this year's 7th anniversary, an event known as Saba Saba Day that commemorates July 7, 1990, when Kenyans rose up to demand a return to multi-party democracy after years of autocratic rule by then-President Daniel Arap Moi. The united opposition leaders called on all Kenya citizens to declare President William's Ruto government as an illegitimate regime that is an enemy of the people, hostile to the people, killing the people by thus boycotting all government functions and activities and delegitimize the government's businesses and actions, insisting 2027 is too far for Kenyans to wait before ending the presidency of Ruto, and in a swift reaction, President William Ruto on Wednesday visited Dagoretti northern side of Nairobi to inspect the construction of 540 housing units project at Kilimani police station, and during the visit, the president addressed the nation and declared those are apparent protesters who attacked fellow Kenyans, police officers, security installations and businesses as terrorists, stressing, such acts are a declaration of war and he will never allow retrogressive elements who want to rise to power through shortcuts succeed. Opposition leaders on Tuesday accused the government of deploying unmarked police vehicles to transport armed gangs to perceived opposition strongholds during the protests. They called for a national boycott of all businesses affiliated with President Ruto's administration, accusing his government of deploying state-sponsored violence and extrajudicial killings on Kenyans. This regime is hostile. It cannot be reasoned with. It must be resisted. We will not rest. We will not retreat. We will not surrender, the opposition said in a joint statement. Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, one of the opposition leaders and former deputy president of Kenya, said, on the 7th of July 2025, the 35th anniversary of Saba Saba, Kenyans took to the streets to protest. Unknown to the peaceful protesters, the tired regime of William Ruto had a well-organized, state-sponsored militia working in cohort with the police to maim, kill, destroy property, and blame it on the Kikuyu community. President Ruto's ICC cases are still ongoing and were paused after witnesses disappeared. It is clear that history is repeating itself. Ruto is hellbent on finishing his unfinished business with the Mount Kenya region. To President Ruto, I say this with a lot of humility. Please stop being angry. The people of Kenya are far more angry than you are. If you truly want this to end, then restore the dignity of the payslip. When the middle class can breathe, they will create jobs for our young people. Stop the abductions, stop the extrajudicial killings. And if you want this to end, disband the killer squad. According to the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, KNHC, the Commission is still actively monitoring and following up on all reports and incidences related to the 7th of July 2025 Saba Saba demonstrations across the country. Below is a general update of the human rights violations documented by KNCHR as of today, the 8th of July 2025 at 1900 hours. Deaths, 31. Injuries, 107. Enforced disappearances, 2. Arrests, 532. Destruction of property, value unknown. The KNCHR strongly condemns all human rights violations and urge accountability from all responsible parties including police, civilians and all other stakeholders. We once again send our message of condolence to those who lost their loved ones and wish a quick recovery to those nursing injuries. The KNCHR calls upon anyone with information and human rights concerns relating to the demonstrations to share it through SMS 22359, email complaint@knchr.org and toll-free line 08007206227, stated as signed by Dr. Raymond N. Wairas, PhD, Vice Chairperson, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, KNCHR. Kenya Human Rights Commission, KHRC, in a video post on Monday had stated that law enforcement officers have killed at least 9 protesters during Saba Saba demonstrations held across 24 counties. The actual death toll is likely higher. Given the nationwide scale of the protests, it will take time to verify and compile the final numbers of arrests and injuries. Press briefing notes issued by the United Nations Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights as made available via the UN website on Tuesday. The spokesperson for the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Ravina Shamdasani, said, "We are deeply troubled by the killings yesterday of at least 10 people, as well as looting and destruction of property in Kenya as police and other security forces responded to violent protests in the capital Nairobi and at least 16 other counties. Lethal ammunition, rubber bullets, tear gas, and water cannons were used. Police have reported that at least 11 people were killed, 52 police officers injured, and that 567 arrests were made." The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights reported at least 10 fatalities, 29 injuries, 37 arrests and 2 abductions. We have also received reports of looting and damage to public and private property by unidentified individuals in multiple locations. It is very concerning that these latest incidents come barely 2 weeks after 15 protesters were reportedly killed and many more injured in Nairobi and other parts of Kenya on the 25th of June. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk renews his call for calm and restraint, and full respect for the freedoms of expression, association and peaceful assembly. It is essential that legitimate grievances at the root of these protests are addressed. We note that the police have announced an investigation into earlier incidents. The High Commissioner repeats his call for all reported killings and other alleged violations and abuses of international human rights law, including with respect to use of force, to be promptly, thoroughly, independently and transparently investigated. Those responsible must be held to account. Under international human rights law, intentional lethal force by law enforcement officers, including with firearms, should only be used when strictly necessary to protect life from an imminent threat. Our office stands ready to support the authorities in Kenya in addressing these challenges, including in the investigations. Kenya Human Rights Commission, KHRC, had earlier on Monday published CCTV footage on its X social media handle that shows how goons stormed the Kenya Human Rights Commission, KHRC, offices at 2:08 p.m. to disrupt a press conference by Kenyan mothers who were calling for an end to arbitrary arrests, enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings ahead of Saba protests. At exactly 2:08 p.m. East Africa time, EAT today, hired goons stormed our office, sent by the state to silence dissent. They violently disrupted a press conference by Kenyan mothers calling for an end to arbitrary arrests, enforced disappearances, and extrajudicial killings targeting protesters ahead of Saba demonstrations. Saba has been marked annually as a symbol of resistance and civic courage in ongoing struggles. This was a calculated escalation in the campaign of intimidation by the William Ruto regime against the KHRC, following the extraordinary illegal rendition of our staff Martin Mavangina, and human rights defenders holding it accountable for gross human rights violations. We will not be silenced. The Constitution protects our right to protest and speak out. See you on the streets on Monday. State-sponsored militia attacked 2 journalists and stole a laptop and phones during a press conference by Kenyan mothers condemning arbitrary arrests, enforced disappearances, and extrajudicial killings during protests. This CCTV footage clearly shows the individuals who took the items. We urge you to help identify the names. The Kenya Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, must act on this evidence, arrest and arraign the perpetrators, and ensure the immediate return of the stolen devices. Kenya President William Ruto, on his verified X social media handle on Wednesday, tweeted and said, "Those who attack Kenyans, police officers, security installations and businesses are terrorists. Such criminal acts are a declaration of war. We will not allow our country to be destroyed by retrogressive elements that are seeking shortcuts to rise to power. Enough is enough." In Dagoretti North, Nairobi, assessed construction progress at the 540 housing units project at Kilimani Police Station. We had reported last year that the Kenya Police Authority has redeployed all police personnel in Mukuru area within the country capital, Nairobi, following the discovery of dozens of bodies, mostly female, wrapped in rubbish bags and dumped into a sea of Mukuru slum, which is very close to one of the country's police stations. Kenyan police are often accused by rights groups of using excessive force and carrying out unlawful killings or running hit squads, but few have faced justice, AFP report ends in quote.
Public to treat this regime as a hostile regime. It's an enemy of the Constitution and of the people. It has declared war on the citizens of Kenya. And we, the people, must resist to be dragged into a state of anarchy. Enablers, financiers, and executors of this regime's violence will be held personally liable, both locally and internationally. The day of reckoning is coming. No badge, no title, and no political alliance will shield you from justice. This regime is now hostile. It cannot be reasoned with. It must be resisted. We will not rest. We will not retreat. We will not surrender until every drop of innocent blood is accounted for, until the oppressive weight of this regime is lifted off the shoulders of our people.
Mtu yeyote ambaye anaenda kupiga polisi, mtu yeyote anaenda kuvamia police station, that is a declaration of war in the Republic of Kenya. It is not acceptable. Sijui kama tunaelewana, my friends. No, enough is enough. haiwezi kuendelea tena. I will protect property ya wananchi wa Kenya, maisha ya wananchi wa Kenya, biashara ya wananchi wa Kenya. It is the responsibility of the government of Kenya, which I lead, that is going to make sure hii vita ya kuharibu mali na kuchoma biashara ya watu itakoma. It must stop. Sijui kama tunaelewana. And we are going to use whatever means that is available to make sure that we stabilize the country. We cannot accept mayhem and anarchy to destroy the development we have in.
Forces who are connected, bringing you the news in a more digital way. Forces who are connected, bringing you the news in a more digital way.